Hey, tonight's shave is going to be with this a vintage Gillette. Note the thin handle. It is very hollow. Note the flat bottom and the open comb. And so that means it's a Gillette new. And normally we spell that all caps, new, just to differentiate it from the word new as an adjective. Flat bottom. And the variation on this particular one is these round pins. And it actually has almost like a keyhole cut out, which makes it a little different. I haven't shaved with this one before. I like these flat bottom news. So far, they've shaved really well for me. The other one that I have. I want to go ahead and put in my Tungsten 74, and this one I'm going to take and see how long it'll go. So I wrote an M up there. And I think most of the flat bottom news were made in England, and you can see that right there. And this thin little handle, very little to it. And there we go. I don't know how this guy's going to shave. Going to give you an idea of the exposure there. I'm sure it'll be fine. Ramblin Man is the new Stirling sent to me. I got it used and most of it's here. Stirling's such a great value. It's almost 6 ounces of soap for not much money, and it just a nice tallow soap. I could go my whole life just using Stirling products. It really is true. This one has citrus top notes. Sandalwood is in the middle as kind of the heart note. And then Ambergris and maybe some musk and another ingredient or two are kind of the bottom notes. And I also got this as a set. And so I got the aftershave. Put that on, and all I could think about was Baker Street. Stirling makes Baker Street, and it's very zesty and citrusy, and I don't like it quite as much. I did not enjoy having it as an aftershave. I like it okay as a soap. It's not as strong, and it doesn't stay with me. As an aftershave, it was too much for me. So let's see how this guy is as a soap. Because if it's nice, then I'll keep the soap and pass the aftershave on to somebody else. Get my face wet. A little less than 24 hours since my last shave. Now let's, my notes said 25 seconds gave me about 5 passes. Why don't we try on the last Stirling soap I used? Why don't we try a 20-second load? And I am using my Stirling Badger brush, Stirling Finest, which is a 2-band badger. 2-band means this black band. You've got the lighter color here as one band, and then this black darker color here is the second band. Is pretty much all you see. It sometimes will change color right before it goes into the handle, but this is a large band of color. With a 3-band, this dark band is much smaller, and then you'll definitely see lots of lighter color in the 3rd band down here. All right, so let's try that 20-second load. This looks really dry, so what I'm going to do is just kind of put a couple of drops on the soap, just really 5 drops, and 20-second load starts now. This is a bulb-shaped brush, so I'm going to kind of rotate to try to get the different tips along the perimeter of the brush exposure as well. And almost done. There we go. 20-second load. I hope more than just that zesty citrus comes out. Feels kind of dry. I may have shaken out too much of the water from my brush, but you know, we'll play with it. We can always go get more from the puck if we need to. The scent notes on this one sounded really good. I'll put them in the description of the video if you want. I mean, they're going to be there. In the soap section, it'll say them, and then it'll say all the different notes. The sandalwood is the middle, and the citrus is the top, and all the rest of them are the heart, the base notes. At the very bottom, after the citrus is kind of faded and gone away, then the rest, and then also the middle sandalwood. Then all the rest of them are what's kind of supposed to be left over. So the top notes, that citrus is usually going to be what jumps out at you at first. That's definitely the case with this soap. Stirling doesn't really have a strong reputation with sandalwood, at least strength in terms of scent strength. Their particular their own sandalwood is kind of a sweeter one, and so it doesn't nearly have as much kind of woody punch as a lot of other ones out there. I don't really care for it too much. Alright, well, it is coming together here. So 2 teaspoons have been added. This is the Lather bowl designed by Roger Quintero. It's a computer printed bowl. You have a 3D printer with a link to the files so that you can print your own in the description of the video. One thing in my notes reminded me of is that I love a lather where I can get it all stretchy, all elastic, and we're not to that point yet, but Stirling is like that. It's not one that I have to run a little drier than usual, like so many that I've used lately. The 25-second lather gave me five passes last time, so that's why I decided to try the 20-second, and we'll see what happens. Don't usually need 5 passes. I prefer 4, and that way I can do a touch-up and maybe have a little bit extra margin, but 5 is not bad. Soap is cheap, especially Stirling is not an expensive soap. Look at that. Look at those peaks, the stretch there. So just a little bit more water. So that's a total of 4 teaspoons in the lather. Lather issue there. I don't usually have that kind of problem. All right. Face wet again. As usual, using hard water here, and it is tepid. This brush does this so often. I just kind of have to remember to jam the bristles down into the lather when I'm mixing, because just the stirring action kind of keeps the center of it lather free. Takes that poking motion to make sure that the lather gets into the center of the brush. Let's try this out. This blade's been doing really well for me. I used a carved Christopher Bradley recently, and this head and razor is just much lighter, of course, and you can tell. You can kind of feel that. But this blade is really, I'm not really feeling the edge in terms of cutting. I'm not even really feeling it cutting. It's just slicing right through really well. These English Gillettes are, they just ride the line so well between comfort and good close cut. Nice close shave that often, so often, I just thoroughly enjoy them. And this one again, like so many of the others, grips the blade pretty well close to the edge. On the bottom, not so quite so much. We're still looking at maybe 6 millimeters away from the edge. So, but it's, I didn't get very much chatter, and so it must have something else right as well. Maybe this is that tungsten blade. I'm almost sure that this metal is a little thicker than maybe some of the other ones that I usually use. So therefore it's not going to have as much chatter. So let's put on that second pass, and I, for one, can't wait for that orange top note to get out of the way for some of those other guys. It's just so up front. Kind of overshadowing the rest. This was one where I really thought the scent notes sounded like something I would really enjoy, but of course with the scent notes you don't know the percentages, you don't know the strength, and indeed even if the maker were to give you some idea, I just recently over the last few months learned that perception is really a scientific thing. One person said that even, I think it was Ben from Mammoth Soaps, I think, that one person's perception of a scent can vary like 40% from another person's. And it's the same scent. It's just the way our noses are built and all those things. This is smooth right here. This is a nice wet lather. Very slick. Razor's skipping a little bit. Sometimes that might mean that the lather is a little too wet, but that is something you can be the judge of for your own personal preferences. Yeah, the citrus here is just getting in the way. I can't smell anything else. So to me, this is just kind of having the same effect on me as Baker Street. Now this is an efficient razor. So this might be a good one if you like the vintage razors, but you need something that's going to mow some hair down. If you have tricky beard, thick, or if you shave every 3 or 4 days instead of every day. Gonna rinse. It's very rare for me to try a Stirling soap and not want to keep it, but this one's just, the orange is too much. It's the whole that zesty, bright orange. It's not a sweet orange. It's just all there is to the scent, pretty much, and it's just getting in the way of anything else. I could see how somebody might really enjoy this in the mornings, you know, something kind of that wakes you up. Could see that. Definitely flows with that kind of approach. Again, I'm going to keep a light touch as we do a cross grain pass. I'm feeling a little bit of kind of rawness, like maybe this razor's, it's being very smooth, but it is clear it's also doing some cutting. Wow, yeah, it is. I don't have to do any touch-ups right there in my trouble spot. So with this, I may enjoy a blade that's had some uses on it instead of this particular one that's cutting so well. I may want to put, since it's a little bit more on the aggressive side, but it's deceptively so. It feels smooth. It feels like you can just zip around, but I can see how I may have generated just a little bit of razor burn, especially in my neck area. So it might be a little too aggressive for that. It just doesn't feel like it until it's too late. This shave calls for some balm to help calm the irritation and not just an alcohol splash. So I'm going to hunt that up. Well, this might match. Sapone de Paolo, Arancione. It's kind of more like a milk than a balm. And I'm glad I remembered that this time. I wonder if I got this on sale at Maggard. I guess it just didn't sell very well. I'm glad I remembered this time that it was so liquidy. I think it surprised me in the past. Now, you got a little excess on your hands, throw some on your old man jaggedy elbows. All right. And this is a sweeter orange scent. So I think it will match and make me a little happier than that zesty stuff. So I thought about getting rid of this, but you know, I like it. Good time to keep it around right now. And you can see the whiteness of the milk, and it'll absorb in just a few minutes. And while let's see, how much lather do I have left over? Well, that 20 seconds looks like it was. I was skeptical. I didn't think maybe that it was going to be enough lather, but I've got another pass right here, and I could probably squeeze maybe 2 passes if I really worked it. Like if I take off this soap right there that I showed you, and now let's see what we squeeze, what is in the brush. Yeah, see, there's another pass right there. So if I needed to, Could have had that. And I used 4 teaspoons of water. It was a nice wet lather, performance lather. Very happy with that. I could go a little bit drier and it would have been good, but I'm happy either way. You know, the Stirling Finest Badger. This is the bulb knot. Haven't stropped it on the towel yet, but that's the shape. This might be a good brush to test because it's inexpensive to buy the fan knot. And just see if I can tell the difference in the backbone. They say the fan will have less backbone than the bulb, but I have some theories and I'm skeptical about that. But this might be a good way to test it. I'll think about that. So this razor's got some aggression to it. You can see there is some gap there. It turns out that's the way it is. And for me, especially unless my skin is feeling particularly robust, I probably won't want to put in my sharpest blades, my kind of snaggiest blades in this guy. Keep maybe some older ones, and I bet he'll do absolutely wonderfully. So we went through another ride with the tungsten blade, with the Tungsten 74 by Personna. Excellent blade, very sharp at this point. It's early in its life. I am confident that when we get to 20 uses or so, I could probably put it back in this razor and have a great time and not quite end up with as much irritation as I did in my neck. Cheeks, fine. Ramblin Man, not quite for me. That kind of zesty orange just kind of never went away, never subsided. The orange from the post-shave, the kind of milk that I had from Paolo, is a great match for it though. I rounded it, softened it up a little bit. And so I will find a new home for the Ramblin Man. And it's rare for a Stirling soap to leave my den. And I think we're good. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I hope there's been something here for you that helped you out. You take care. Good night.